Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my 2018 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. Alrighty, so this time around we're going to be focusing on this shelf here. The back row is pretty much all sitcoms, so we'll take a look at those. And I've also got a thriller section, a couple of director-specific sections here, just because certain directors I like to group together. And then finally my comedy movies on Blu-ray, so let's check them out. Okay, so diving into the thrillers here, we start off with one from one of the all-time masters of the suspense thriller, Alfred Hitchcock, with the special 50th anniversary Digibook edition of North by Northwest, which I actually watched for the first time when I did Ryan Chataway's movie marathon a number of years ago. Such a good movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. And then we have Gone Baby Gone. We have Coma, which I almost might be able to put into the sci-fi section. I haven't quite decided yet. For now, it goes into the thrillers. The Emerald Forest. You'll notice there's some stuff in this section that could also go into action. It kind of depends, I guess, where you draw the line between thriller and action. We have Drive, which I have yet to unwrap. Really need to watch this one of these days. Training Day. Quite a different kind of character for Denzel Washington in this. Really shows his versatility as an actor. Amazing stuff. We have Speed Clanches. Clanches! I don't know how clanches is speed in French, but there you go. This is one of those white slip covers that Fox was putting on. Inside it's just a regular cover. They did like a whole bunch of these. I've got a few of them. Hold on a second. Then we have Cape Fear. I think this is an Australian sticker here. Or something. Doesn't say. Anyway, it's region free. Classic Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange. What's her face? Juliette Lewis. This is the one I think really put Juliette Lewis on the map as the sort of innocent teenage daughter. Limitless. Miracle Mile. No Country for Old Men. A Most Wanted Man, which I believe was Philip Seymour Hoffman's final film. Such an amazing actor. Always a joy to watch. The man was a chameleon. Bridge of Spies. Duel. This is such a good movie. Steven Spielberg's feature film debut, although he had done a lot of television before this. This was originally a TV movie, and then it was released theatrically a little while later with some additional footage. Runaway Train. That's great stuff. Natural Born Killers, the director's cut. Don't let the keep case presentation fool you. This is an absolutely loaded edition. It has a massive book with it. It's basically a digibook without the digibook packaging. And as far as I'm concerned, the director's cut is the only version of this movie to watch. The theatrical cut really missed the point that Oliver Stone was trying to make. And I've said before, I'll say it again. Anytime you have the choice between a theatrical cut and a director's cut with an Oliver Stone movie, always go with the director's cut. Always, 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 without question. And then some of you may have been wondering, hey, where's all your Tarantino stuff and whatnot? Why isn't it in the action section or what have you? Because I have a Tarantino section. And right next to it, because they're good friends and have done a lot of stuff together, I also have a Robert Rodriguez section. So let's start at the beginning here. We've got Reservoir Dogs, the 15th anniversary edition. This apparently does not have as many extras as the DVD version of the 15th anniversary edition. Might need to track that down at some point. And then we got Jackie Brown, which I need to watch again, actually. I've only watched this once. Same with Reservoir Dogs, actually. I know a lot of people are gaga over Reservoir Dogs, and it's a good film, don't get me wrong, but it's not my favorite. Pulp Fiction, which is my second favorite Tarantino movie. I think it's just fantastic. And then we got the Canadian Steelbook editions of Kill Bill. This is my favorite Tarantino film, by the way. Love Kill Bill so much. That's Volume 1, and then we have Volume 2. I really like the covers on these steelbooks. I just wish it wasn't from the era where they had the Blu-ray banner kind of printed on the cover. Nowadays they don't do that anymore, but they did that a lot back then. Then we have Inglourious Bastards with the very nice slipcover here with all the bastards there. Great stuff. And Django Unchained. I always felt that Tarantino was the perfect guy to do a modern spaghetti western. So not only did he do one, he basically did two in a row. He did Django Chained and then The Hateful Eight, which, by the way, uses a lot of the unused score from Ennio Morricone's score for The Thing. Being a huge fan of The Thing and having the soundtrack in various forms over the years, I picked up on that immediately. But great stuff. I think I love both of these equally, Hateful Eight and Django Unchained. They're both just such fantastic films. So say they're tied for number 3. And then, perfect film to bridge the Tarantino and Rodriguez sections, I think. We have the Grindhouse double feature. I still need to pick up the single releases of the two movies, because the single releases are actually extended versions of both films, and I really need to get on that. And then we have, as a result of one of the Grindhouse trailers, we have Machete with the incomparable Danny Trejo. The man is a legend. I think the first time he worked with Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino was from Dusk Till Dawn, where he played the bartender at the Titty Twister. They have Machete Kills. And sadly, it looks like we're not going to get Machete in space. I know we all wanted that one, but... And then another one that was a result of one of the fake trailers on Grindhouse, we have Hobo with a Shotgun. Good old Rutger Hauer. The big difference here is Machete actually made a movie, and also like incorporating elements from the fake trailer, and also recreated some of the scenes from the trailer and used some of the scenes from the trailer. So everything you see in the trailer is in the movie. Hobo with a Shotgun, however, it's the same basic story that's in the trailer, but everything is redone. It's recast and everything. It wasn't Rutger Hauer in the original trailer and stuff. But this movie is just completely batshit insane. Like, it's just such a nuts movie. I love it. And Canadian, no less. A lot of Canadian actors in there. You got Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, the beautiful 45th anniversary Digibook edition. We're getting into the comedy section now, by the way. I thought also, this is kind of my mode of thinking here, like going from thriller to Tarantino and Rodriguez. So this is like straight up thriller, and Tarantino and Rodriguez are kind of like thrillers with a sense of humor, like a dry sense or a dark sense of humor. And then from there, we go into comedy. Just that's the way my brain works. Like, that makes sense to me. And then we have The Big Lebowski. Oh, Deja Vu, if you watched my video on the Westerns. Yeah, I don't know how this found its way into the Western section, other than maybe the lettering of the spine. It's like, oh, that looks like a Western. I'll just put it on the Western show. Yeah, anyway, it's in the comedy section where it belongs now. And then we have Goon. And we have Jackass 3. I still need 3.5. And we have the extended version of Grad Bampa. Yeah, Bad Grandpa. I still need Bad Grandpa 0.5. Now, I do have all of Jackass somewhere. I'm not sure where I put it. Yeah, I have the box set. I have the other movies. I basically have everything Jackass that's been released except for Jackass 3.5 and Bad Grandpa 0.5. That's it. That's literally the only things I'm missing. I thought they were in the back here with the sitcoms, but it seems I was mistaken. Maybe I accidentally... I might have packed them away. Anyway, carrying on with the comedies here. Got this was actually a Christmas present from Rosie one year. She saw this and thought I would find it entertaining. I was like, wow, you know me so well. So we got Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Sadly, I don't have the sequels. I have seen all of them, but I don't presently own the other two. And then we have Office Space, another one of those white slipcovers I was talking about. Inside, it's just the regular edition, the special edition with flair. That's basically the common edition now. And this is great. I actually just watched a thing about why we'll never see a sequel to this. And really doesn't need it. So we got Napoleon Dynamite, the 10 Sweet Years edition. Very nice. I love this movie. It's just so unique and different and funny and charming and just, it's got it all, man. But yeah, I mean, basically the thinking is the movie basically stands alone. It really doesn't need a sequel. They did do the animated series, though, which I heard was quite funny. I need to pick that up at some point. And then this is a really nice edition of Anchorman. Specifically Anchorman 1 and 2. And it actually has absolutely everything from every previous edition of Anchorman. Like, this is actually a really loaded edition. We've got all the Anchorman 2 stuff. All the Anchorman stuff. It's fantastic. So, everything Anchorman in one handy-dandy little collection there. Very nice. And then we have the Canadian Steelbook edition of Hot Fuzz. And then we have Tropic Thunder. This is such a hilarious movie. Robert Downey Jr. is just a revelation in this. He's so funny. Superbad, which I was really late to the party on this one. I basically didn't see it until a viewer sent me the Blu-ray of it. And I'm really glad they did, because it was a really funny movie. Really enjoyed it a lot. Then we got Get Smart. This is an example, I think, of a remake done right. Stephen Carell was the perfect choice to play a modernized Maxwell Smart. This is a terrific edition, just loaded with stuff. I gotta say, some of the extras on this, like some of the outtakes, are so funny, like your face will hurt from laughing. And then this was released as just a blatant cash-in, just a short movie starring Bruce and Lloyd, Out of Control. Well, you know, worth it to have. Because, well, as you'll see, I do like Get Smart, but we'll get to that in a little bit here. Then we have 21 Jump Street, which I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. This movie is so frickin' hilarious. Like, I just could not believe... Like, this was far better than it deserved to be, I thought. I really enjoyed this a lot. And I still need to see the sequel, which I understand is also quite funny. And then we have Scoop. Region Free. You may notice it's a not Region A edition. And we've got Fading Gigolo. Got some Woody Allen here. Every comedy section needs some Woody Allen in it. I got a section I really need to rebuild. The Monty Python section. Got Monty Python Almost the Truth. The Lawyer's Cut. Which is a wonderful documentary all about the history of the franchise and the group and everything. It's really, really good stuff. Lots of great clips on there. And then we got The Meaning of Life. the movie they made with the intent to offend as many people as possible, and I think they succeeded. It's wonderful. And then, of course, the classic. I've actually watched this with Rosie, even. She loves it. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This is the 40th anniversary edition. As with every edition of this, it basically carries over all the special features from all the previous editions and adds a few new things just to milk you out of a few more bucks. Even John Cleese says in an interview here, like, I think we should just keep re-releasing it over and over and over and milking it and milking it and milking it as far as we possibly can. Which is wonderful. This one I think I'm going to move to my Christmas section, but we have Love Actually, the ultimate romantic comedy, which is, this is such a fantastic movie. I'm not usually a fan of romantic comedies, but honestly, this one is so far removed from the typical romantic comedy formula, I think it barely even qualifies as a romantic comedy. There's so many different layers to this. It's literally just an exploration of every different type of relationship and every different type of love that you can think of. Well, these are all the sort of big major ones, and it's just such a wonderful movie. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's heartwarming, it's got everything, man. It's just brilliant. Dumb and Dumber, the unrated extended edition. I don't own any of the, I don't own the sequel or the prequel that didn't have the guys in it, but I definitely want to see the sequel, because I like the idea that they actually set it 20 plus years later. And we got Paul, Seth Rogen as a pot-smoking alien hanging out with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. This one was a lot of fun. And then I still got to watch the second one, but I love the first one. We got Ted versus Flash Gordon. So, because of course, if you've seen Ted, you know that the characters in the movie are huge fans of Flash Gordon. And Sam Jones actually puts in some pretty memorable cameos in both movies. So they put out this special edition, which I thought was kind of a cute idea, where it has both Ted 1 and 2, the unrated editions, along with Flash Gordon, so all in one sort of collector's edition. So very nice, couldn't resist that. Plus I didn't have Flash Gordon on Blu-ray yet, so why not? Then we got A Million Ways to Die in the West, unrated edition. Got the Simpsons movie, which I might have actually moved down to where the Simpsons season sets are, just kind of keep all the Simpsons stuff together. And then finally we have South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I think that's a double entendre, but I'm not sure. Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff to cover in the back and some box sets to look at as well. Just give me a moment to yank everything off the shelf and we'll see what's behind it. Okay, so I got a few comedy movies on DVD that I don't necessarily have on Blu-ray, but a lot of them are kind of packed away. There's one, however, I wanted to keep accessible, and that is Idiocracy, because sadly, this still doesn't have a Blu-ray release. I can't believe it. So this is from Mike Judge, the guy who brought us Beavis and Butthead and Office Space, and this is another one of his sort of scathing social commentary comedies, and it's just brilliant and hilarious, and I love it. And it's not on Blu-ray, so I keep the DVD handy. I'm just going to set this down here. Alright, so essentially, for the most part, what we've got here is sitcoms, and a whole bunch of them. So, starting from the top here, we've got Perfect Strangers, the complete first and second seasons. And by the way, this is finally getting some more DVD releases. It's been a long, long time. For the longest time, only this set was available, and that was it. But we're finally getting some more season sets, apparently, so the fans have been heard. And here we've got the complete series of Buffalo Bill with Dabney Coleman. One minor drawback to this, this is the syndicated cuts. It's not the original uncut network versions, but it is the only way to get the series, sadly. So that is all we've got. But that said, I mean, this is freaking brilliant. I mean, think of the Office and the Newsroom and stuff like that. But from 30 years ago. I mean, this was sort of the first of its kind, where you had this sort of scathing satirical comedy. And then we got the Newsroom. This is not the not the HBO version. This is the CBC series from the 90s, written, directed by and starring Ken Finkelman. This is an absolutely brilliant series, and if you like sort of satirical comedy, I highly recommend checking this out. I watched a few episodes of this with the boys, and they all had a good time with it. Especially Stoudman, I think, really enjoyed it because he really likes this style of comedy. But it's very much like The Office, but before The Office. So if you like that kind of comedy, sort of the fly on the wall style of thing, you are there. So they did one season and then it was done. It was just kind of done as a mini series, and then they brought it back with this movie called Escape from the Newsroom, which is a TV movie, and then they did 2 more seasons afterwards. So great stuff. I still have to actually watch the other season. I've watched the first season more times than I can count. I just love it. I got to watch the rest of them one of these days. And here we have the complete series of the original British version of The Office, starring Ricky Gervais. This is the one that definitely put him on the map. And I'm sad to say I've actually seen little to none of the US version. I really need to get on that one of these days because I love a lot of the cast members in that. I think it's a terrific cast. And I understand, once it kind of gets past the first season, which just kind of rehashes stuff from the British series, it goes off on its own and is apparently quite amazing. So I really need to check that out one day. And I got the re-releases of Third Rock from the Sun. Nice thing about this is the Mill Creek set. The nice thing about that is it's the complete uncut original network versions. Apparently some of the previous season sets used syndicated cuts. So there we go. So that's the complete first season, complete second season. And as you can see, it says right there, uncut. They make a big point of mentioning that. It's the same with their Roseanne sets. They had the uncut episodes. There we go. And I think from season 3 onward of the original DVD releases, they used the network cuts, but for some reason the first 2 seasons didn't. So Mill Creek made a big point of hyping that up about their editions. And then season 4. I need to get, I think there's 6 seasons? I need to get the last 2 sets one of these days. This is a really great show. I love it. This is a really good one. I actually missed this when it was on, and this was actually sent to me by Mill Creek to check out. This is Grounded for Life, the complete series, starring Donald Logue, who you may, if you watch Gotham, you may know him as Detective Harvey Bullock. He also was in an early episode of The X-Files, specifically episode 3, Squeeze, in which he played an old friend of Dana Scully's, trying to lure her away from The X-Files. He was a bit of a jerk in that one. But he is absolutely hilarious. Like, I had no idea he was such a talented comedic actor. This is a great show, and also co-stars the guy who played Tom in Office Space as his dad. And it's a really funny series. It's basically about a couple who got married a little too young, and now they're kind of like, being married and parents and stuff, but still trying to recapture their youth. And it's really fun. I liked it a lot. And then here, this is a pretty big collection here. I got this. This was, I don't know, some random fire sale thing that Amazon was doing, so I jumped on this because it was a bargain. I don't even remember what it was, what specifically, but it was really cheap. It was like $50 or something for the complete series of Cheers. So it's basically all 11 individual season sets, just kind of bundled together. I was kind of hoping that the early ones would be all the big box sets like that, just for consistency. And most of them are season 2, except for season 3. Season 3, I got the re-release, which is in the smaller keep case. So it is kind of mismatched. It would have been nice to have the big box version of that, just to kind of match them all up. Because with the regular releases, it wasn't until season 9 that they went to the smaller cases. But then we got season 4. This is a classic show. And I know someone somewhere is going to ask, yes, I like Frasier as well. If there's ever a similar deal on Frasier, I'll probably pick that one up too, just because it was good stuff. Honestly, though, but between the two, I always kind of preferred Cheers. I think just because it was a bit bigger of an ensemble cast, and that kind of appealed to me more. But and there were certain aspects of Frasier that just kind of, I don't know, didn't really work for me as well. I liked the fact that he was a talk show host, like a sort of call-in psychiatrist thing, and I really liked what's his face who played his brother. I thought he was like the perfect. They were like sort of the perfect foils for each other, in a way, and of course his smart aleck producer Roz and everything. It's there's a lot to like about Frasier for sure, but for me personally, if I was to pick between the two, I would probably lean towards Cheers personally. But I don't know. Maybe upon reviewing Frasier, I'll change my mind. I don't know. Maybe I'll just love them both equally for different reasons, which is also entirely possible because they're both great shows. And season 10, Cheers ran for a long time, and Frasier actually ran equally long. Like that often does not happen with a spin-off series, that it's equally successful as as the series it originated from. But there you go, and that is Cheers. So yeah, good stuff. Gotta love it. Then finally we have the Trailer Park Boys. So we got the original release of the Christmas special, which comes with a conky finger puppet, which is very nice. I'm just going to leave this here for the moment just so I can kind of get into these ones a little easier. And then we have the re-release of the Christmas special, which is the Dope and Liquor edition. The reason I got this is because it has some additional extras on it that were not on the original edition. Specifically some stuff to do with the movie, the first Trailer Park Boys movie, which had not come out yet when the original edition was released. And then we have the season 1 and 2 set, Big Plans, Little Brains. This is great stuff. Second, and then we have season 3, season 4, season 5, season 6, and season 7, which was the originally the final season. And just before we get into that, for the while the series was still on, we had Trailer Park Boys the movie, which of course I have on Blu-ray. And then when the series ended, they had basically an hour-long finale called Say Goodnight to the Bad Guys. You got Bubbles there doing kind of a Scarface thing. Or no, that's Carlito's Way, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Carlito's Way picture. And then that one kind of led into the second movie. The first movie was not canon to the series. The second one is. And kind of continues after Say Goodnight to the Bad Guys. And then, so this was the original sort of final ending for the series. But then the main cast actually purchased the rights to the show and started up their own network called SwearNet. And this is sort of the slightly fictitious tale of how that came to be. And between SwearNet and the return of Trailer Park Boys, they did this 6-part series, The Drunken on Drugs Happy Fun Time Hour, which was so freaking hilarious. Like, I can't believe this got little to no attention. Like, it's such a weird show, but it's just brilliant. Like, and it shows how versatile the boys really are. They play a wide variety of characters throughout the series. Very Kids in the Hall like in that respect. But picture like the Kids in the Hall just like on drugs. It's so nuts. I really enjoyed this a lot, as did some of my friends who watched it with me. But sadly, one of the main characters passed away. Was it Maury Chaykin? Yeah, Maury Chaykin, who played kind of the main villain of the story. He sadly passed away shortly after they did the series, and then they never did any more. Plus, I don't think it was terribly successful. Unfortunately, it just wasn't. Didn't catch on. I mean, I guess they were trying to branch out after Trailer Park Boys, and people had already typecast them. So they fired up Trailer Park Boys again. Now doing it as a Netflix series. They unleashed the 8th season, and they're still going strong. Actually, I think they're up to 12 seasons now. They've done some live specials as well. We got Live at the North Pole, Santa Fights Dirty. We got the 9th season, a little less stable, which I think this also includes. Yeah, this also includes Live in fucking Dublin, which was another live show they did. And then we have the complete 10th season. Does this have another live show on it? Yes, Drunk, High, and Unemployed, live in Austin. So they do like a live show every year now. And then finally, they also did another theatrical movie around the same time that the series was relaunched. We've got Trailer Park Boys, Don't Legalize It. And there you go. I actually have to get caught up on this. I haven't seen any of the new stuff since they relaunched it. I've only seen as far as season 7 and Say Goodnight to the Bad Guys. I haven't seen the second movie or any of the new stuff. I just kind of been buying it as it comes out because, it's Trailer Park Boys. I know even if it's not as good as the original, which I've heard some people say it isn't, I know I'm still going to enjoy it anyway because, come on, it's the boys, It's the boys from the park. Okay, so before I put everything back on the shelf, I got some more sitcoms here. Specifically some stuff I've got some massive box sets of that just won't fit on the shelf. One of the big ones that I'm really proud of here is, of course, the MASH Martinis and Medicine Collection. So this is the complete series of MASH. It also includes the movie, actually. Yeah. I did a closer look video about this a while ago, so if you want to get a look at the inside of it and everything, go ahead and check that out. Sorry, bumping the camera there. Let's see. Next up, got Barney Miller, the complete series. Much like Cheers, this was on for a ridiculous discount one day on Amazon, so I just jumped on it. Great stuff. It's a wonderful, loving sort of, I don't want to say parody of cop shows. It's basically, it's a proper cop show, but it's also a comedy. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a very unique show with a wonderful ensemble cast. Great stuff. Speaking of wonderful ensemble casts, of course I have Seinfeld, the complete series. I've done closer looks at all these, by the way. All these box sets. So if you want to get more in-depth look at any of them, just feel free to look them up on my videos there. And another great ensemble cast. We got Parks and Recreation. One I was a bit late to the party on this one. My friends were highly recommending it to me, and the complete series set was on sale on Boxing Day, so again, I snagged it. So I tend to do with these big box sets of sitcoms and stuff is just wait for them to go on sale, because they inevitably do at some point, and you can often get a lot of hours of entertainment for without breaking the bank. And I mentioned Get Smart earlier. Well, I've also got the complete series of Get Smart. This is a terrific set. This is the original Time Life release, which eventually did get a wide release. I did a video about this a while ago, so I'm just going to push this aside here. There's a couple of additional things to go with that. First up, we have the theatrical movie The Nude Bomb, which was the first time the Maxwell Smart had come back. And then we have Get Smart Again, which I think is one of the all-time greatest reunion movies ever. Because unlike The Nude Bomb, which really only had Maxwell Smart and a few other characters in it, this one actually reunites almost the entire surviving original cast. And is just such a treat for fans of the show. It's really a lot of fun. And then finally, I guess because this was so successful, they tried bringing the show back with Maxwell Smart now as the head of Control. And Barbara Feldon actually came out of retirement to do this. She had retired from acting. Well, I guess she came out of retirement for the movie and then stayed out of retirement for a little bit to do the series. So they had Maxwell Smart as the new head of Control, 99 kind of helping him out. And then their son, as played by Andy Dick, was the primary focus of the show. So that may be what the problem was right there. I don't know, but it was okay, it was all right. I mean, it was nice to see some of the old gang back, but honestly, it just couldn't hold a candle to the brilliance of the original series. This one definitely does. This is just such a loving tribute and reunion movie. This one gets a lot of flack for not being as true to the series. I kind of think of this as the earlier Adventures of Maxwell Smart, even though it takes place in the 80s. Just because he doesn't seem as I don't know, as mature as he was as he became over the course of the series. So I kind of think of this is Maxwell Smart the early days when he was still kind of reckless and a bit of a womanizer. This is him as he, goes through his career and settles down and falls in love with 99. And this is kind of the nice little epilogue to it. And you can include this or not if you want. It's entirely up to you what you choose to have as your personal canon. Some people tend not to like it as much, but I don't know. I think it's all right. It has its moments. And then finally, this one was sent to me by a viewer many moons ago. It's essentially the British version of Jersey Shore. The only way is Essex. I have not watched a single episode of this, but thank you very much for sending it my way. I'm sure I'll enjoy it one day when I'm drunk. Okay, so now I need to put everything back on the shelf, so let's get to that. Ta-da! So there you go. I'm sure you'll agree. A lot of thrills, chills, and laughs. Alrighty. Well, that is it from me to you for now. Next time we're going to check out this shelf down here, which is basically we've got some cartoons for grown-ups, as well as the family section. So it's kind of an interesting pairing there. So I hope you'll join me for that, and I'll show you what's there. Until then, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, and sayonara. Blu-ray, so let's check them out. Let's check them out. And we'll see what's behind it. See what's behind it. Oh, there's a really awkward angle that is hurting my back. So, yeah. Ow! Okay.